With the NHL season quickly approaching, many players are looking to take their careers to the next level. In this video, we're going to be going over a few players we think that you have to keep an eye on this season. They may take a major step up in their careers. I'm going to start off with the player I have, which I think is going to be an excellent player next year, which is Kaapo Kakko. We know Kaapo Kakko was a second overall pick. He didn't come into a bad team. He played with the Rangers, came in his first year, but the Rangers were kind of, a 50 win team, or not a 50 win, sorry, a 50% win percentage team. They were in the middle of the pack. They weren't good, but they weren't bad. He was in a lineup where he never really got the opportunity to shine as a second overall pick and prove that he needs his advantage that he needs to go into. So I think that he's going to take a major step up this year. He's going to be moved to the first line, and rumor has it that he's going to be playing on the first line. This is now just, it's no confirmed lines. It's just projections from Daily Faceoff. They put up their line projections. So this is what it's looking like. Chris Kreider, Mika Zibanejad, and Kaapo Kakko. Now, if this is the actual line set, I think that we're going to see a major increase in Kaapo Kakko's points in this next season. He's pretty much just been, a pretty average player. Like I said, he hasn't really had the opportunity to shine playing on mainly the second or third line throughout his career. But if you put anybody on a line with Chris Kreider, Mika Zibanejad, in my opinion, they're going to be excellent. You can't really avoid that. But the right side is pretty weak. You can see, they acquired Blake Wheeler just to kind of fill a slot there. But I think Kaapo Kakko is looking to get another contract, a big contract, as it is expiring this year. And I think that he's going to be looking to exceed his numbers throughout his career. He's, like I said, he's been pretty average, nothing special, but I think he's going to take a major step up this year. Nick, what do you think about Kaapo Kakko, and do you think he's going to have an excellent year this year?
Well, I definitely do agree with you that he's going to take a step up this year because he's always been put on that third line with Lafreniere and Hedl. Not that Lafreniere and Hedl aren't great players. It's just when you upgrade your line mates from Kreider, from what they were, Lafreniere and Hedl. Not that Hedl is actually a pretty good player, and Lafreniere is still yet to break out. But if you upgrade those guys to Zibanejad and Kreider, even if you have them on the line with Panarin and Trocheck, with Panarin's playmaking ability, you're bound to get a few scoring chances, and all he has to do is finish those, and maybe he does take his career to the next step. I definitely agree. He does have the opportunity this season.
Yeah, and you mentioned as well Alexis Lafreniere. I think he's another name we kind of had to mention in this conversation. The Rangers did get a bit worse from last year after getting Tarasenko and Patrick Kane at the trade deadline. Both are no longer with the team, so I think that it's going to be time for this new, younger generation of Rangers players to take the step up. Lafreniere, fresh off a new contract. Kaapo Kakko, looking for one at the end of this season. I think both these guys are going to be fighting for their positions on this team to be the centerpieces of this team, along with guys like Kreider, Panarin, Zibanejad, and make this a new dynasty, hoping to get the Rangers back up to where they were when they had the excellent teams the past 2 years. But Nick, who do you have as your player that you think is going to have a very good season next year?
Well, I don't know if this is a hot take, but Connor Brown from Edmonton. I mean, if you look at the recipe for success, if you knew what the recipe for success was and how to grow your career to the next step, this is it. This guy was only, I think in his best years, he had like a 40-point season or 43-point season or something like that. But if you look at his junior stats back in Erie, that is a significant step up from what he's been doing in the NHL, and that's because he was playing with none other than Connor McDavid in Erie. And that's exactly what he's going to be doing this year. So, I mean, to be able to rekindle that, the junior magic that those guys had together, that might be something that happens this year for Connor Brown. I believe he's a great, well-rounded player. He's had international success. He's had NHL success now. He's played on the team with Zach Hyman. Came up through the minors a little bit with Zach Hyman as well. If you put him with Zach Hyman, not only him and Zach Hyman with the Toronto connection, but him and Connor McDavid with the Erie connection, and you put Hyman and Brown with the best player in the world, with the chemistry they might already have, I think that's the recipe for success for Edmonton, and it definitely brings Connor Brown's value up.
You're absolutely right. You put anybody with Connor McDavid, they're guaranteed to take a very big step up. But having someone who's already played with him, knowing how they play together, and then taking that to the NHL level, along with another player who's already played with Zach Hyman, I think that Connor Brown is going to take a big step up, like you said. I think this is another one to keep an eye out for, and that Edmonton Oilers fans should be very excited if they aren't already. Connor McDavid is going to make this a very good team.
If you look at what Connor McDavid's done for people in the past, he made Patrick Maroon score 29 goals or 30 goals or something like that a few years ago. If he can do that for Patrick Maroon, I wouldn't say it's out of the question to see Connor Brown raise his career high to 65 points this year.
Oh, yeah, I think that's an easily possible if he stays on the line with Connor McDavid. Now, again, this is another lineup situation where we just can assume that this is what it's going to be. Daily face-off, they don't have the certified, the verified lines, but this is kind of what we would assume would happen just because of that three-way connection between Connor Brown and Zach Hyman and Connor Brown and Connor McDavid. So I think this is a valid point.
One thing I will say, though, Connor Brown played 4 games last year because of injury. So I think you're going to have to keep an eye on that. Maybe he's not fully back to his normal health, or maybe this might be a more permanent problem. You hate to see that, but with NHL players, it does happen. Like you have like an injury-related thing, and you're not quite back to where you used to be, and you never quite get there. But hopefully Connor Brown is able to come back and play like the player he was before, the hard-nosed, goes into the corner, finishes the play, and all that stuff. Hopefully he gets back to that level.
Yeah, and hopefully that if he is fully healthy, he's going to have that the want to be able to get his new career high in points, be excited to play with McDavid and Hyman, 2 guys he's already played with, and just get that feel back for the game. And hopefully he'll have another big season for a career high, we'll say, for the Edmonton Oilers. But Noah wasn't able to make this video, but he had a player in mind that we're also going to talk about in this video, just because we want to get him included in this, and that's Adrian Kempe. Now, I know that this may seem like a pretty obvious one, that Adrian Kempe has been a very good player, but the thing is, the LA Kings have only been getting better from, probably a couple years. They've been just keep on adding from their prospect pool, adding players from the NHL, such as Kevin Fiala is an example of one, and bringing up a lot of their prospects. And I think that Adrian Kempe will have another very good season next year. You can see before the 2020-2021 season, he's kind of been averaging around 30 points or so. He's ranged between 37 and 28. But over the past 2 seasons, he's had 54 points and 67 points. And I think he's going to take another big step up this year. You can see here on the lines as well, he's on the first line with Quinton Byfield and Anze Kopitar. Once again, something we don't really know if these are going to be the confirmed lines or not. But you have a second line here of Kevin Fiala, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Arthur Kaliev. I think that whatever line he goes on, whether it's on the second line, even the third line, I don't see him going to the fourth, but I think any of those first 3 lines that he'll be on, I think Adrian Kempe will have a better year than he did last year, which is already a very good year. So, Nick, what do you think about Adrian Kempe on the LA Kings?
I think Adrian Kempe is a great player. I mean, he's been regarded as like a great, solid player for the LA Kings the last couple of years. He's been like one of their main goal scorers. If not, I think he led them in goals last year with 41. And I think he's been a little underrated because he just came up out of nowhere. Like, he was in the league for so long, and everyone was like, okay, this is this guy's ceiling. Like, he's 30 points kind of thing. Like, he did that for like 4 or 5 years. But when he broke out in a big way, and the Kings started to get really good when he broke out. So I think that he is very underrated. I think that's a point that Noah wanted to make as well, that Adrian Kempe is not talked about as much as he should be. And I think the LA Kings are going to surprise a lot of people next year as a team, because they've been overshadowed by the Edmonton Oilers a little bit. I mean, some would say that Edmonton got really lucky in some of those games, and LA was pressing. LA was pressing them a lot in those games, and Adrian Kempe was a driving force in that. And I can't wait to see what the Kings do next year, because I can guarantee you they're going to be one of the top 2 spots in the Pacific.
I'm excited to see what the Kings do as well. I like what you said about being overshadowed by the Edmonton Oilers. I got to say, as well as the Seattle Kraken, Seattle's had a lot of hype around this team recently of what they've gotten, players they've added, and I think that they're kind of that team that just everybody overlooks because they had that dynasty run in the early 2010s. But, they're back. I gotta say, they're back, and people are going to have a surprise, like you said, that what they're going to do over the next few seasons. I think that they're only going to add, whether it's from NHL players or their prospect pool. They have very good of both. So I think that they're going to surprise a lot of people, and I think Adrian Kempe is that talented scorer. I think he's going to do something similar to what he did this year, if not better. But that's all we have for this video. Let us know in the comments below another player, if you have any, or if you agree with us, that you think may have an excellent season next year. You think might have an underdog season, or someone that you think might be a bust. Let us know. We want to hear it. We love reading your comments, but that's all. Hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and see you later.